"You're off this flight. Racist attendant humiliates black girl." But she gets the last laugh. Aaliyah Johnson, a young black woman with skin the color of warm honey and eyes that sparkled with intelligence, had always walked with her head held high. Growing up in the vibrant, bustling city of Atlanta, she'd learned to navigate a world that often tried to dim her shine. Her mother, a tireless advocate for her community, had instilled in Aaliyah a deep sense of justice and an unwavering belief in her own potential. "Never let anyone tell you what you can't do, Aaliyah," her mother would say, her voice strong and steady. "You are brilliant, you are beautiful, and you are capable of anything you set your mind to." Aaliyah took those words to heart. She excelled in school, devouring books like they held the secrets of the universe. She joined the debate team, her words sharp and persuasive, her voice ringing with conviction. She volunteered at a local community center, tutoring younger kids and organizing events, her energy and enthusiasm infectious. But Aaliyah's true passion lay in the skies. From a young age, she'd been fascinated by airplanes, those magnificent machines that defied gravity and connected people across continents. She dreamed of soaring above the clouds, exploring new cultures, and experiencing the world from a different perspective. That dream led her to become a flight attendant. After graduating with honors from a prestigious university, she landed a job with a major airline, her heart filled with excitement and anticipation. She loved the thrill of takeoff, the feeling of weightlessness as the plane ascended into the clouds. She enjoyed the challenge of navigating different time zones, the satisfaction of providing excellent service to passengers, and the camaraderie of her fellow crew members. But her journey wasn't without its turbulence. As a black woman in a predominantly white industry, Aaliyah often encountered subtle and not-so-subtle forms of discrimination. She endured microaggressions from passengers who questioned her competence, dismissive glances from colleagues who underestimated her abilities, and the occasional outright racist remark that stung like a slap in the face. Yet, Aaliyah refused to be discouraged. She knew her worth, she knew her rights, and she refused to let anyone dim her light. She met every challenge with grace and determination, her smile unwavering, her spirit unyielding. She became known for her professionalism, her impeccable service, and her ability to defuse tense situations with a calm demeanor and a disarming wit. She was a rising star in the airline, a role model for other young black women who dared to dream of a career in the skies. But Aaliyah knew that her journey was about more than just personal success. She wanted to make a difference, to break down barriers, and to create a more inclusive and equitable world for everyone. She envisioned a future where the skies were open to all, where diversity was celebrated, and where everyone, regardless of their background, felt welcomed and respected. The boarding process was usually a blur of friendly greetings and hurried goodbyes. But on this particular flight from Atlanta to Los Angeles, Aaliyah's routine was disrupted by a passenger whose face was contorted in a mask of disdain. The woman, adorned in expensive jewelry and a designer outfit, approached Aaliyah with a sneer. "You," she spat, her voice laced with contempt. "You're the flight attendant?" Aaliyah, taken aback by the woman's blatant hostility, maintained her composure. "Yes, ma'am," she replied calmly. "Is there something I can assist you with? I don't want to be served by someone like you," the woman retorted, her voice dripping with venom. "Get me someone else, someone competent." Aaliyah's patience, usually as boundless as the sky she flew through, began to wear thin. She recognized the woman's prejudice, the thinly veiled racism that she had encountered far too often. But this time she refused to let it slide. "I'm sorry, ma'am," Aaliyah replied, her voice firm and resolute, "but I'm the assigned flight attendant for this flight. If you have a specific concern about my service, I'd be happy to address it. Otherwise, I kindly ask you to take your seat." The woman, enraged by Aaliyah's defiance, stormed off to find the lead flight attendant. She demanded that Aaliyah be removed from the flight, spewing a litany of false accusations and racist remarks. "That girl is incompetent," she hissed, her voice filled with malice. "She was rude to me, disrespectful. I don't feel safe with her on this flight." The lead flight attendant, a man who valued smooth operations over justice and fairness, caved to the woman's demands. He approached Aaliyah, his face etched with regret. "I'm sorry, Aaliyah," he said, his voice barely above a whisper, "but I'm going to have to ask you to deplane. We can't have disruptions on this flight." Aaliyah, her heart pounding with indignation, refused. "This is unfair," she protested. "I haven't done anything wrong. That woman is lying." But her pleas fell on deaf ears. The lead flight attendant insisted, and Aaliyah, faced with the threat of security intervention, reluctantly disembarked the plane, her dreams of soaring through the clouds replaced by the bitter taste of injustice. As she walked through the terminal, her anger simmering, she couldn't shake the feeling of humiliation and betrayal. She had dedicated herself to her job, providing excellent service to passengers, only to be dismissed and degraded because of the color of her skin. She vowed that this would not be the end of it. She would not let this injustice slide. She would fight back not just for herself, but for all those who had been silenced and marginalized. As Aaliyah sat in the terminal, her mind racing with thoughts of injustice and indignation, she noticed a commotion nearby. A group of passengers were huddled around a television screen, their faces etched with concern. Aaliyah, drawn by the collective anxiety, approached the group, her curiosity piqued. On the screen, a news report was unfolding, detailing a breaking story about a hostile takeover of a major airline. The airline in question was none other than the one Aaliyah had just been kicked off of. The report revealed that a mysterious investor had acquired a controlling stake in the company, effectively seizing ownership. Aaliyah's mind raced. Could this be a coincidence? Or was there a connection between her unjust removal from the flight and this sudden change in ownership? She pulled out her phone and frantically searched for more information. Her eyes widened as she stumbled upon a press release issued by the new owner of the airline. The release identified the investor as none other than Robert Johnson, a renowned billionaire and philanthropist, and Aaliyah's father. Aaliyah's heart skipped a beat. Her father, who had always championed her dreams and supported her ambitions, had just become the owner of the airline that had wronged her. She couldn't believe it. It was as if fate had intervened, handing her the power to fight back against the injustice she had endured. A wave of emotions washed over her. Shock, disbelief, anger, and a glimmer of hope. She immediately called her father, her voice trembling with a mix of indignation and excitement. "Dad," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "You won't believe what just happened." She recounted the incident on the plane, the blatant racism she had faced, and the unfair treatment she had endured. Robert Johnson, a man who had dedicated his life to fighting for equality and justice, was enraged. He listened intently to his daughter's story, his heart aching for the injustice she had suffered. "Aaliyah," he said, his voice filled with determination, "I won't let this stand. I'll be there as soon as possible." True to his word, Robert Johnson flew to Atlanta immediately, his private jet cutting through the clouds with the same urgency that filled his heart. He met with Aaliyah at the airport, his embrace filled with both comfort and resolve. "We'll fight this together, Aaliyah," he said, his voice firm and unwavering. "We'll make sure this never happens again." Together, they headed to the airline's headquarters, their footsteps echoing through the corridors of power. They met with the airline's executives, their presence commanding attention and respect. Robert Johnson, his voice calm but resolute, demanded a thorough investigation into the incident, promising swift and decisive action. The executives, caught off guard by the new owner's unwavering commitment to justice, scrambled to comply. They launched an internal investigation, interviewing witnesses, reviewing security footage, and gathering evidence. The investigation revealed a pattern of discriminatory behavior within the airline, with numerous complaints from passengers and employees of color. The lead flight attendant who had removed Aaliyah from the plane was found to have a history of biased actions, his personnel file filled with warnings and reprimands that had been ignored by his superiors. Robert Johnson, armed with the evidence, took swift action. He fired the lead flight attendant, his dismissal a clear message that discrimination would not be tolerated within his company. He also implemented mandatory diversity and inclusion training for all employees, ensuring that everyone understood the importance of creating a welcoming and respectful environment for all. Aaliyah, witnessing her father's decisive actions, felt a sense of vindication. She had not only stood up for herself but had also sparked a movement for change within the airline. Aaliyah, empowered by her father's support and the momentum for change he had initiated, decided to take an active role in shaping the airline's future. She joined the newly formed Diversity and Inclusion Committee, her voice and perspective adding valuable insights to their discussions. She advocated for policies that would promote equality and fairness, ensuring that all employees and passengers were treated with dignity and respect. She pushed for the recruitment and promotion of people from underrepresented groups, creating a more diverse and inclusive workforce that reflected the communities the airline served. She also became a mentor to other young Black women in the company, sharing her experiences, offering guidance, and inspiring them to pursue their dreams without fear. Her actions had a ripple effect throughout the airline. Employees who had previously felt marginalized and silenced began to speak up, sharing their stories and demanding change. A culture of respect and inclusivity began to take root, replacing the old ways of prejudice and discrimination. But Aaliyah's influence extended beyond the confines of the airline. The news of her experience and her father's swift action against discrimination spread throughout the industry, sparking a national conversation about racism and inequality in the workplace. Aaliyah, thrust into the spotlight, became a symbol of resistance against injustice. She gave interviews, shared her story on social media, and appeared on television talk shows, her voice resonating with people across the country. She received countless messages of support from people who had experienced similar discrimination, their stories echoing her own struggles and fueling her determination to fight for change. She also faced criticism and backlash from those who resisted change, those who clung to outdated notions of privilege and power. But Aaliyah, with her unwavering confidence and her unwavering belief in justice, refused to be silenced. She continued to speak out, her voice growing stronger with each passing day. She became a beacon of hope for those who had been marginalized, a symbol of the power of one person to make a difference. The ripple effects of Aaliyah's experience extended far beyond the airline industry. Her story sparked a national conversation about racism and discrimination, prompting other companies to reevaluate their own policies and practices. Diversity and inclusion initiatives gained momentum, with businesses across various sectors implementing mandatory training programs, establishing diversity committees, and actively recruiting employees from underrepresented groups. The incident also caught the attention of lawmakers, who introduced legislation aimed at strengthening anti-discrimination laws and increasing penalties for workplace harassment. Aaliyah, recognized as a catalyst for change, was invited to testify before Congress, sharing her experiences and advocating for stronger protections for workers. Her testimony, delivered with eloquence and conviction, moved lawmakers and viewers alike. She spoke of the pain of discrimination, the frustration of being silenced, and the determination to create a more just and equitable world. Her words resonated with people across the country, inspiring them to speak out against injustice and demand change. The media, captivated by Aaliyah's story, continued to follow her journey, documenting her transformation from a flight attendant facing discrimination to a national advocate for equality. Her story was featured in magazines, newspapers, and online publications, her face gracing the covers of influential magazines and her words echoing through social media platforms. She became a role model for young people across the country, her story a testament to the power of one person to make a difference. Aaliyah's relationship with her father deepened during this time. They worked together to implement reforms within the airline, brainstorming ideas, strategizing solutions, and sharing their vision for a more inclusive and equitable workplace. They spent countless hours discussing strategies for promoting diversity, addressing unconscious bias, and creating a culture of respect and belonging. Robert Johnson, inspired by his daughter's courage and determination, became even more committed to his philanthropic work. He established scholarships for aspiring Black pilots and flight attendants, funded diversity and inclusion initiatives in schools and communities, and used his platform to advocate for social justice. He also became a mentor to Aaliyah, guiding her through the complexities of the business world, sharing his experiences, and offering advice and support. Aaliyah, in turn, inspired her father with her passion for justice, her unwavering belief in the human potential for change, and her ability to connect with people from all walks of life. Their bond, strengthened by their shared commitment to creating a better world, became a source of strength and inspiration for both of them. Aaliyah also formed strong bonds with other employees within the airline who had experienced discrimination. They shared their stories, offered support, and worked together to create a more welcoming and inclusive environment. They formed a support group, meeting regularly to discuss their experiences, share strategies for coping with discrimination, and brainstorm ideas for promoting change within the company. Aaliyah, with her natural leadership qualities and her ability to connect with people on a personal level, became a central figure in this group, offering guidance, encouragement, and a sense of solidarity. She also developed close friendships with several of her colleagues. Their bond forged through shared struggles and a common vision for a better future. They celebrated each other's successes, supported each other through challenges, and worked together to create a workplace where everyone felt valued and respected. The airline's annual shareholders meeting became a platform for Aaliyah and her father to showcase the progress they had made in promoting diversity and inclusion. They presented data on the increased representation of people of color in leadership positions, the positive feedback from employees and passengers, and the airline's commitment to continuing its efforts to create a more equitable workplace. They also shared stories of individual employees who had benefited from the airline's diversity and inclusion initiatives, highlighting the positive impact these programs had on their lives and careers. The meeting was also attended by the woman who had unjustly accused Aaliyah, her face contorted in a mix of anger and regret. She had been invited by a group of shareholders who opposed Robert Johnson's leadership and his focus on diversity and inclusion. They hoped to use her presence to disrupt the meeting, undermine Aaliyah's achievements, and discredit the airline's progress. The woman, given the opportunity to speak, launched into a tirade, repeating her false accusations against Aaliyah and accusing the airline of reverse discrimination. She attempted to paint Aaliyah as an opportunistic troublemaker who had used her father's influence to gain an unfair advantage. But Aaliyah, with her newfound confidence and the unwavering support of her father and colleagues, refused to be silenced. She calmly and eloquently addressed the woman's accusations, highlighting the airline's commitment to justice and equality. She shared her own experiences of discrimination, the pain she had endured, and the determination that had fueled her fight for change. She also spoke of the progress the airline had made, the positive impact of its diversity and inclusion initiatives, and the commitment to creating a workplace where everyone felt valued and respected. The shareholders, moved by Aaliyah's powerful words and the evidence of the airline's progress, applauded her and her father's leadership. They recognized that the airline's commitment to diversity and inclusion was not just a moral imperative but also a smart business strategy, attracting a wider customer base and fostering a more engaged and productive workforce. The woman, defeated and humiliated, left the meeting, her attempts to perpetuate discrimination thwarted. The shareholders, with a renewed sense of confidence in the airline's leadership, voted overwhelmingly to support Robert Johnson's vision for a more inclusive and equitable future. The shareholders' meeting marked a turning point for the airline. The woman's disruptive behavior and her attempts to undermine the airline's progress had backfired, solidifying support for Robert Johnson's leadership and his commitment to diversity and inclusion. The airline continued its efforts to promote equality and fairness, implementing new policies, expanding training programs, and creating a culture of respect and belonging. Aaliyah, now a respected figure within the airline, continued to advocate for change, mentoring young employees, supporting diversity initiatives, and using her platform to inspire others to stand up against injustice. She also worked to bridge the gap between the airline and the communities it served, organizing outreach programs, sponsoring scholarships, and partnering with local organizations to promote education and economic empowerment. She believed that the airline had a responsibility to give back to the communities that supported it, to create opportunities for those who had been marginalized, and to use its resources to promote social justice. She worked tirelessly to build relationships with community leaders, organize volunteer events, and support initiatives that promoted education, healthcare, and economic development. Her efforts earned her the respect and admiration of the community, who recognized her as a champion for their interests and a voice for those who had been silenced. Aaliyah also continued to face challenges. There were those within the airline who resisted change, who clung to outdated notions of privilege and power. But Aaliyah, with her unwavering determination and her ability to build bridges and foster understanding, gradually won over even the most skeptical of her colleagues. She organized workshops and training sessions, facilitated dialogues, and shared her own experiences, helping her colleagues understand the importance of diversity and inclusion. She also worked with the airline's Human Resources Department to develop new policies and procedures that would address discrimination and harassment, ensuring that all employees felt safe and respected in the workplace. Her efforts created a ripple effect throughout the company, fostering a culture of empathy, understanding, and mutual respect. Aaliyah's experience sparked a turning point in her life. She realized that her passion for aviation extended beyond her role as a flight attendant. She wanted to be a leader in the industry to shape its future and to ensure that it was inclusive and accessible to all. She decided to pursue a master's degree in business administration with a focus on aviation management. She envisioned a future where she could lead an airline, implementing policies that would promote diversity, sustainability, and customer satisfaction. She enrolled in a prestigious business school, her determination to excel fueled by her desire to make a lasting impact on the aviation industry. She immersed herself in her studies, mastering the intricacies of finance, marketing, operations, and leadership. She also sought out opportunities to gain practical experience, interning at airlines, consulting firms, and government agencies. Her academic achievements and her practical experience earned her the respect of her professors and her peers. She was recognized as a rising star in the field of aviation management, her insights and perspectives sought after by industry leaders. Aaliyah also continued to advocate for change within the aviation industry. She spoke at conferences, published articles in industry journals, and served on advisory boards, her voice becoming increasingly influential in shaping the future of aviation. She advocated for policies that would promote sustainability, reduce carbon emissions, and make air travel more accessible to people from all socio-economic backgrounds. She also continued to champion diversity and inclusion, pushing for the recruitment and promotion of women and people of color in leadership positions within the industry. Her vision for the future of aviation was one of inclusivity, sustainability, and innovation, a future where the skies were open to all and where air travel was a force for positive change in the world. Aaliyah's journey from a flight attendant facing discrimination to a champion for change and a future leader in the aviation industry was a testament to her resilience, her determination, and her unwavering belief in justice and equality. She had faced adversity with courage, overcome challenges with grace, and emerged from the experience stronger and more determined than ever. She had learned the importance of speaking up against injustice, of using her voice to advocate for change, and of empowering others to do the same. She had also learned the power of forgiveness, recognizing that holding on to anger and resentment would only hinder her progress. She reflected on the incident on the plane, the woman's hateful words, and the lead flight attendant's complicity. She realized that their actions, while hurtful, had ultimately led to positive change, not just within the airline but also within herself. She had grown as a person, her empathy deepened, her resolve strengthened, and her vision for the future clarified. She was grateful for the challenges she had faced, for they had shaped her into the leader she was becoming. She was also grateful for the people who had supported her along the way: her father, her mother, her friends, her colleagues, and the countless others who had believed in her and encouraged her to pursue her dreams. She recognized that her journey was not just her own. It was a testament to the power of community, the importance of collaboration, and the transformative potential of adversity. She was determined to continue using her platform to advocate for justice and equality, to inspire others to pursue their dreams, and to create a world where everyone felt valued and respected. Aaliyah's story is a testament to the power of one person to make a difference. It highlights the importance of standing up against injustice, using one's voice to advocate for change, and empowering others to do the same. It also underscores the transformative potential of adversity, demonstrating that even the most challenging experiences can lead to growth, resilience, and a renewed sense of purpose. Aaliyah's journey is an inspiration to us all, reminding us that we all have the power to create a more just and equitable world. It is a story about courage, determination, and the unwavering belief in the human potential for change. It is a story that celebrates the power of diversity, the importance of inclusion, and the transformative potential of education and leadership. Aaliyah's legacy lives on through the countless lives she touched, the young people she inspired, and the industry she helped to transform. Her story serves as a reminder that we all have a role to play in creating a better future, a future where everyone feels valued, respected, and empowered to achieve their dreams. It is a story that reminds us that even in the face of adversity, we can rise above, overcome challenges, and emerge stronger and more determined than ever. Aaliyah's story is a story of hope, a story of resilience, and a story of the unwavering belief in the human potential for change. It is a story that will continue to inspire generations to come.